All right, Abdullah. Welcome to the channel, mate.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for being part of this. We've invited you today. We're going to do some alterations to your position, and we'll go through all that later. This is going to be a section that we'll call the Bike Fit Masterclass, and we'll go over first a little bit about how you used to be when I first found you. But for everyone at home, this is Abdullah. Abdullah's done a little bit of distance riding in his time, a couple of little short rides here and there. And we'll get a bit of background on you first. So tell us a bit briefly about like when you started riding and what you do now and why you gravitated towards these ridiculous ultra distance events that you like doing.
I'm not even really sure when I actually started riding. It was kind of like an evolution. It just evolved really quickly. I moved to Melbourne maybe, I don't know, I want to say 2014, 2015.
Yep.
And then I started just riding back and forth to work.
Yep.
And then quickly it escalated and I realised I couldn't do much on that single speed.
Yeah, right.
I started riding up to Brunswick.
You're a fixie.
Yeah, I was single speed, not fixie.
The hipster.
And I'd ride up to Brunswick and come home and I thought, oh wow, that's amazing. I started really enjoying it.
Yep.
Prior to that I was in the gym a lot.
Yep.
And then just really quickly I bought a road bike and then I rode to Adelaide, and that was my first experience of long distance riding.
Yep.
And that was pretty traumatic. And I remember the first day I rode, I caught the train to Geelong and then rode from Geelong just past Apollo Bay, which isn't really that far in ultra riding. And it was traumatising. I was crying, it was raining. I was crying for like about 5-6 days straight.
What made you do it?
I just was excited. I was like, I got to see what this is like.
Okay.
So I did that, and that's really what started for me. But even then, after that, I didn't really do many long rides. I probably do one long ride a year, which was the same ride, where I could potentially not ride all year, or just do half a year of riding and then take half a year off.
Yes.
And then me and a couple of friends would ride from Melbourne to Adelaide.
Okay.
And then we would just do one big day at the end. We'd be like, oh, we're going to go do 500 Ks on the last day. Sometimes we do 400 Ks or 500 Ks. And we were just trying to average 25K an hour.
Yeah, right.
You know, so 2016, 2017, 2018, that's kind of where it was at, 500 Ks. And we were just like, oh my God.
Yep.
It felt like Chris Froome, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was only shortly after that they did this race across Australia where I was filming it, and that's when I really saw that my eyes were opened. I seen how much distance these guys could do every single day.
Yep.
So I kind of thought, oh wow, I could do 400 Ks in a day.
Yes.
But then I saw that these guys were doing it every day, and it really piqued my interest. And then I thought to myself, oh, maybe I should give this a try.
So there was no strong driver or motivation. You just wanted to give it a crack.
Yeah. I knew that I could tolerate. I think basically I knew I could tolerate a lot. That was the kind of undertone of everything.
Yep.
I knew deep down from just previous circumstances that I could tolerate
suffering.
I could tolerate a lot. I not deliberately suffered. Like I had my own personal stuff, and then I was training a lot in the gym. Several years quite hard. And so I thought, I know I could tolerate a lot. And I always felt like in the gym I was kind of, like I could never really, my peak strength wasn't something that naturally came to me. Like squat, bench, deadlift, it was something I never really actually was able to develop like, you know, a big 1 rep max, even with a lot of training.
You're a slow twitch guy.
Yeah, but I knew that I could push myself to a really high level.
For long periods.
So then I thought, oh, this is great. I mean, you don't have to produce a lot of power, and you can just like, it's all about how far you can take it. And even now in cycling, like I still reflect on times when I was training in the gym, and sometimes I still haven't. Those gym workouts day in day out still don't even. The cycling doesn't even come close sometimes.
You still find them harder.
Yeah.
So you gravitated toward these ultra distance events, and that one year you got yourself sort of ready and rode across America and came and beat the course record, didn't you, in the Trans?
Yeah, Trans Am.
Yeah. It was 2017.
So 2017, I filmed that race across Australia.
Yep.
2018, I went back and did it.
Yep.
2019, I did the Trans Am. Yeah.
And belted it and flogged everyone, and then you went, oh, maybe I've got some talent at this. And recently you've been working towards having a crack at the 24-hour record.
Yeah.
You had to go in Melbourne and got a bit nauseous and sick, and that one got derailed a bit. And then a couple of weeks ago down at the Gold Coast, you did a lazy 904 or 905 kilometres?
No, it's 904. It was actually 904 point something, but
we'll round
but
up.
You know what? Because it's not like if you think of it as an official thing, it doesn't really count, because when you go to officiate it, there's all this. You've got to have a timer, and someone's got to take a survey of
So
shortest part of the road.
This was not an official record attempt?
No, it was just to get some closure. And
you just wanted to see what you could do?
I just wanted to confirm to myself that I knew, like, when I set out to... It's actually interesting, because when I set out to do the record was 894k.
Yep.
Mitch Anderson had it in Melbourne. So I set out to... That was the distance I want. And then maybe about a few months before I was about to attempt it the first time, my partner has a friend in Luxembourg, and she was going back and forth with her saying, "Oh, there's this guy, he's going to break it."
Yeah.
And he actually broke it, and he did 918 or something.
Yeah.
So then it changed, but it was just funny. I ended up being able to do what I initially set out.
You got where you wanted to go.
Yeah, it just took a bit longer than I thought it would.
So just a short ride for the viewers at home, just 900 kilometres in 24 hours. Just a short stroll around the block. Have you ever learned how to turn right yet? Because you're just going left.
Well, what actually I did, funny you mentioned that. I spent the first part of my time on Gold Coast. I was doing a lot of out and backs.
Yep.
So I was just going out back training on this one course and just doing it all day. I kind of maxed out that course, and then I went up. I found that course on the Gold Coast, which was all left turns, 5k left turns. I happened to just stumble across that one day. I saw a friend, and he was like, I'm like, "Oh, where are you going?" And we went out the normal way, which I knew the path, and then he made this left turn, and I thought, I didn't even know you could turn left down here. And he connected the whole left, and I thought, wow, that's an amazing course.
Meant to be.
So then the next day I went out there and kept riding. But I came up to Brisbane and was riding the course that was
at Nunda.
Right turns.
Yeah.
Just for a bit of symmetry.
So you've had a bit of symmetry.
Yeah.
So that was actually the next topic. It was a brilliant segue. So when I first saw you about a year ago, you came in for a bike fit just because you were in general levels of discomfort in various areas. But the big one was all this left-sided pain that you had. You had one-sided saddle sores from memory. You had bad sort of left lateral hip pain and all this kind of stuff. And that had sort of developed over the years of riding in a fairly average position, and your asymmetry had gone so far outside of normal realms that we had a fair bit of time and effort involved in getting it back to where it was. So in terms of the positional evolution, when I first saw Abdullah, he had a severe left-sided pelvic rotation. His whole side of his pelvis was rotated backwards towards the rear of the person. Your left glute was like twice the size of your right glute. Just all this serious compensatory stuff had been occurring for so long. I was actually pretty convinced that you had a shorter leg on one side. Yeah. And over the course of the last 12 months, we've basically undid a lot of the asymmetry, and now we're back to a point where we have no leg length shim underneath your foot. Your symmetry is remarkably good, and we'll get some footage and put that in for people that are watching. His symmetry is way above average now. Like, most people never attain this degree of symmetry. So you're a sort of a poster child of bike fitting kind of evolution, where you gravitated away from symmetry through riding in a bad position, and we just gradually brought you back. And it took 12 months.
Yeah, at least. It was very time.
Yeah, for your body
to be fair, I was doing a lot of training too, so it might have even been quicker if I was.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know. I was training through it, so it was.
Tough call. As you are at the moment, you're unbelievably symmetrical. So what we're going to do today is actually go back and change your position. We're going to show some of the stuff that we've done with Abdullah's position is that we've optimised it specifically for one type of riding, and which is ultra distance, ultra long, rides. So we're trying to produce the maximum wattage for as long as possible with the most aerodynamic gain and balance all of that, because obviously. He's on a Trinity back there in the ski, so aerodynamics is a big thing for this type of event. So what we've done is we've run his cleats unusually far rearward on the shoes, and you'll see when we watch him pedaling, he's extremely flat-footed, and we've actually done that on purpose to disengage his calves from the pedal stroke so that you can basically keep the seat height down. This tends to not really reduce people's FTP or their threshold output very much, but what it does do is increase their aerodynamic advantage by keeping the seat height and thus the front end quite low. And we've gone to extremes with Abdullah's position to make that the case, because it was an extreme event that you were trying for. Yeah. And if we could gain you 2%, it was worth it when you extrapolate it out to 24 hours.
And it was comfortable too.
And it was comfortable, and now you've got essentially no pain. You get no hip pain, nothing hurts.
Least pain I've ever been.
Yeah, so it worked in terms of, that was part of the symmetry solution, but
Yeah.
most of it was just this incredible optimization for this one particular event. So Abdullah's position is fairly similar to the styles of position that I'm often creating for endurance riders who are doing things like a full distance Ironman. So for a lot of you triathletes out there, some of this will be of interest. So we'll get some footage of you riding now, and we'll get some footage before and after the changes that we do. And we should put a little plug in here. Abdullah, I forgot to mention this earlier, you sponsor a cycling club in Africa.
Yeah, it's called Masaka. It's called Masaka Cycling.
Masaka, yeah. So you're trying to raise money to build a velodrome?
They were building, for the first attempt, they were raising funds to build a cycling clubhouse.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that's what we were doing, and they've successfully finished.
They've done it.
But that wasn't just me, they were building it, and then we just contributed to the final chunk of that. So, but it's ongoing. They've got, an e-cycling program.
It never ends, mate.
They keep going, and they're so fit.
If we've got any wealthy benefactors at home that want to contribute, we'll put a link in the bottom of the video.
Well, they should check it out. It's quite.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff.
I think some of them are starting to race internationally now.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of them had signed up to an international team. But they're just doing the African circuit just to get used to flying and that, and then they'll go out into Europe.
So we'll put a link in there if anyone wants to throw some money that way. That's more than appreciated.